you hope you could just kind of take that in immediately to what we have in store for Haven, because the compositions, as similar as they may feel, just based on how the executions are going to start, they're going to be very different in terms of actual application, just due to the fact that, you know, things like fault lines into fast lanes for this Neon and Breach combination is what you're trusting to kind of break down these sites. Whereas for Burger Boys, I think a lot of this is about trying to get early success in getting these duelists up and forward early. Whoa, that is not a good set of shots from Satellite. Pinstripe goes to kill feed on the C execute. And it will be Burger Boys still holding on to the site, with Bonnie trying to find timing on Noelle. The dark cover between them though. And as that fades, here's the rest of the defense to help.
And Shondex is trying to sprint over and almost took too much time, but better late than never. He's still got a cape on his back and two in front of him. Ambrosia, man, we wanted to see both teams play a bit faster, and the Neon's going to do that. And Ambrosia brought pedal to the metal. The spikes out in the open. Nanners thinking about exploring. Practo watches the cross. Good isolation on the 1v1. Shondex against Nanners for the pistol. Now it's just a jiggle and it's a dance, and Nanners is brought down to half health, so Shondex goes to execute, and it's Nanners! That's the headshot to end it.
Oh, that's the player you want in the last 1v2. You want Shondex. They've been so good at clutching up in these tight moments. Not exactly what I would call, like, obviously a map-changing round. It's just the opening pistol, but felt like you were going to pull that back. Just with Shondex getting the response to after the initial execute was largely foiled. But just to kind of get back to the execute, I know it's a pistol round. I'm not going to throw too much weight into this, but this is going to be, I think, a fast map of Valorant. I think both these two teams are going to want to play with speed. The ISO Yoru on defense thrives off of taking away space early and then getting the ISO into position to be able to use a good double tap, whereas, of course, Satellite, is going to want to try to move quickly just because it's Neon. Neon moves quick, but good opening shot there from Alvin and double Marshall land, and now we have a 5v4 post-plant situation.
Oh, using the clone, and what was that, a collab body with 3? Our MVP that just put up the most insane numbers for the L and almost gets an ace on the anti-eco. And kind of like what you said, don't want to put too many eggs into the, don't have too much hype on the anti-eco with the better buy, but Ambrosia repeated sort of the same strat of send their Neon in. They got fragged, and Burger Boys still have Bonnie firing on all cylinders.
Bonnie's just peeling faces tonight. I mean, it's round 3, and Bonnie is one good snipe away from having a dimensional drift. Just let that soak in for a second. The initial shot here from Alvin, though, is unbelievable. And then, yeah, it's a collat through the head, plus the follow-up on the same angle. But Guardian, double Marshall, double Guardian now, and a Vandal in play. And assume that this is going to be pretty much a staple here for Burger Boys. Use your early recon, gain the angle at A long. Nanners is going to try to sit and hang with this. And again, Bonnie continues to just do what needs to be done. A headshot comes through against the full armors, and then the follow-up from Practo, perfect.
That's what's different about Burger Boys, is why Bonnie was doubling the kills of everybody else, is that he was doing it all, and now he has a team playing tighter around him. They were with him, but not always as close for trades. Now Burger Boys doing such a good job of looking Bonnie look incredible, and Practo joins that as well. So this is very aggressive, very fast, and kind of meeting our expectations for this map.
Homie, I know that Sierra was just talking about almost the near record-setting pace that Bonnie put last time they were on Haven. If this keeps up, he's going to shatter it.
Yeah.
7-2 through 3 rounds. And that's on a full bonus buy against full armors, and he's still hitting headshots like it's nothing. I'm telling you, this guy's got like heat-seeking bullets or something. I don't know. Headshot daiquiri.
I got a bunch of stingers, some light shields. Can you get Satellite close enough for this to find value? And he slips by and just can't lock in time. Fast doesn't always mean good, I guess. It's about execution, and it's a good flash. Speaking of execution off that Yoru, but Burger Boys still stand tall and make this an even match. Ambrosia, though, are going to do good damage despite the better weaponry and the rifle from the Burgers' side. And it's Alvin with the win.
And that's just another, it's a follow-up bonus. You win your bonus, you're not full purchasing again. It's a follow-up bonus, and the Burger Boys are now rich enough to buy small countries in Africa. So you've got full rifles, Dimensional Drift, Hunters, Fury, and a round here that is, I think, again, we're like 10 minutes at most into this map. This is already a pretty critical round coming up for Ambrosia. You're back to a full purchase. You're close to a couple of ultimates. You get one orb for Acreon, and you got yourself onto a Rolling Thunder, and that could be what you need to help Satellite get something going, because 0 for 4 right now in first blood engagements for Satellite is not what you want out of your Neon.
I wouldn't even mind if Bonnie popped the Dimensional Drift early, especially if you see that Ambrosia are committed down a route that, well, Bonnie can just go behind them with it. All depends on how fast and loose Burger Boys want to play, and it's Ambrosia that are taking a step back to assess the threats before sending Satellite to just go and die, but hoping that it turns into a frag eventually.
It's just so tough because after showing some presence at A-Long the same way that they had in the first 4 rounds, now you have got to walk back, and Alvin stepping up deep into C right between this trap wire and Welly, who wants to take this battle and loses it. So now you have to try to hit, and Bonnie's just going to spam through the wall. Bonnie can do no wrong. Alvin a little bit stuck. Hunter's Fury trying to bail him out. Practo able to use that to find this necessary trade. And Retro is letting him know about how this map is going. Nowhere that Acreon can go. And this is a beatdown that you can see it in the player cam. Bonnie is just fighting.
Burger Boys really kicking themselves that they couldn't close out that last map. And I mean, the leads were switching back and forth. Ambrosia takes a timeout, although barely any time has gone by. Already 5 rounds have been locked in by Burger Boys. And it's almost like that loss kind of poked the bear and made the bear angry. And I don't know, the Bear Boys want to go to the semifinals more than anything. So I've had a lot of trust that both these teams do well on defense. It's the offense that I think still needs a lot more experience, a lot more development. And at least for now, Haven looks well practiced for the Burger Boys.
Yeah, extremely well practiced. And to that point, like, it had not played it a ton throughout the Swiss stage. So they're a little bit of like holding your cards, you know, kind of close to your chest here if you're Burger Boys for this decider map. Whereas, you know, this was a recent play for Ambrosia against Hubert Academy. Did not go anywhere near well, though. They went 3 for 9 on the defensive half and 0 for 4 when they got back to the attack. So not a lot cooking there. And not a lot cooking here. So you're looking down what could be 0-6 early. You're coming off the timeout. You're going to have, of course, the Rolling Thunder. You're closer to Hunter's Fury and the overdrive, but man, it's so tough when you see 2 members have 16 total eliminations already combined between them on the other side.
Hey, when things look dire, Shondex hits an ace, right? Got Guardian. Probably not going to happen because Shondex was on defense and on Icebox when that happened, but Burger Boys are going to drone out and not immediately insert Bonnie into a threat level position, but he is slow walking and could wrap around Satellite. Surely there's support from Acreon to poke out this window, or someone's gonna see this door in the middle of the map, and he gets the jump out. Teleports, no, it does not succeed. Welly gets the punish, and now Ambrosia pave their way towards a successful objective plant. If they can get through Garage, they are worried about what's happening at the back window, and a neural theft from Shondex will inspire them where to go next.
Should be a free take on this site, but the spike is late. And wow, Alvin's gonna be able to step on in. Welly, a little bit of spam will work out. Practo right inside the door cover has been flushed out by a really good shock dart.
Spike planted.
And now Nanner's left to his own devices in a 1v4. May try to give the exits a go to get a little bit closer to the kill contract. And to be fair, Nanners has not been called upon to have to do much yet to this point, thanks to what Bonnie and Practo have already provided in the first 6 rounds. But this is a big one here for Ambrosia, a round that you wouldn't expect to win, and one that you're currently looking pretty good on. But the double tap is available. Nanners sidesteps the fault line. Anyone want to chow this? If he gets the reset of the shield, maybe there's a chance. Tries to spam through the corner, not going to work out. And a Thrifty comes through for Ambrosia's first round.
I like how Satellite addressed that on the post plan. Just knew that if anyone's going to peek out of that smoke, it was going to be right along the edge of the wall and had that pre-aimed. So Ambrosia are making good decisions once they do get a head start. And it was all up to whether that Yoru that was flanking through the middle of the map was going to be able to get that kill and teleport out. And as soon as Ambrosia not only had the punish on that Yoru, but advanced through Garage, I think they set themselves up for victory, and it was kind of handed to them by Burger Boys. But that was just kind of an unlucky teleport malfunction, though, from Bonnie. And now he's got an op, and he just got fault liner, and something happened to him where he felt like he had to teleport out, and Satellite had to slow down too. Yeah, that's actually a really good resisted play right there for Burger Boys, because that looked like it was supposed to be all gas, no brakes for Ambrosia down A long. They don't even really clear out the corner, nor do they get a decent look at Sewer. So you have to kind of bail on that. Re-rat back over to the middle of the map where all of the Cypher utility is set up. Spy Kim in particular, a good level of defense, but Retro steps up to provide one level deeper. So now you're in a 5v4, and it just kind of feels like another missed opportunity for Ambrosia to shut down by utility. They're going to get a plan at C, but it's really gotten to Glyph. How many can you find on this turn back through mid? And, well, the Neuro Theft's going to be trying to be combined with the Rolling Thunder. Doesn't really provide too much. 4v3, here we go. Satellite's trying to take advantage of that window, and it gets Burger Boys scrambling of where the heck is that Neon? And their focus is split, and Retro still manages to pick up what was left. Now a Hunter's Fury on the post plan. A lot of volts invested into this round. And you're still able to get the double kill for the clutch. I thought initially with that little spam through the smoke connecting that immediately calling to the Hunter's Fury is just going to be too soon to try to stop any possible defuse. There was no follow-up tools. There was no recon dart available at that moment, but the last thing you want to do if you're Burger Boys is that, where you're just kind of trying to dance and dodge together and you line up. And wow, what a save from Welly. Into the face again, what has just been such good team cohesion and good contest from Burger Boys. Stabilizing. But it gets throttled back, and now all of a sudden, the eco starts to look a little bit more dangerous if Burger Boys drop this round. Now Nanners has to do his Kane's Zera impression, and he's pushed all the way through sewers and is ready to backstab Ambrosia. Gonna use contingency to get out, and he still has a kill contract, so wouldn't even mind him popping that, but now he's not as sure if Ambrosia's presence are still there, because meanwhile there's a lot of action at B, and you have Alvin hoping to cut that off. And Burger Boy starting to surround this site. A small window to plant. Akrian gets it off and hopes to escape. And there's the kill contract, pulling one. No support for Akrian. The rest of Ambrosia don't want to keep this spike protected. And that's all she wrote. Yeah, good round there from Burger Boys. In particular, again, it's just that little battle over towards A-Long that gets you kicked off. But more importantly, the fact that Retro can catch one on Glyph, who's trying to take that A connector to get over towards the outside of the defensive rotation, is everything, because 1-for-1 is fine, but it's the fact that you get the lurker on the Glyph and not just the player up close, because then your defense can rotate back quickly and get this set up for the retake where, yeah, you can pull a kill contract, guarantee one inside of it, and then just flood forward for the rest of the others. So important kill there for Retro to get things going for the retake, and Burger Boys now regrow their lead back to 4 with a little bit of a limited purchase here for Ambrosia, having to resort to a Stinger and light armor for Akrian. Yeah, this A scuffle is tough because Nanners can press, and he's still trying to combine there with Practo, but because Practo's smoked off, Burger Boys can't pinch in that A lobby. And then you have Bonnie, who's in courtyard again and could catch the jump down, but mainly is limiting the options from Ambrosia and can also teleport out depending on that window. So surely Burger Boys have this red. Well, they don't really catch the information that they're hoping to. Like, they were at least trying to get someone to rotate back over to Bonnie's direction, but as soon as the gate crash timer runs out, he just has to go. Feel the pressure, though. Double tap's gonna get called. Fault line will land for now. Satellite into the site, but we're just not clearing corners. Follow-up is decent. Nanner's still stuck into a corner, not able to get the double tap back. Bonnie there to provide one trade before having to teleport out.
will be allowing a plant to come through, and we'll go 2v2 for here on out.
Yeah, Retro had a good paranoia that split that neon of satellite from everyone else, and only so much you could do clearing it by yourself. I don't even think the best neon in the world could, but satellite gets left to dust. 2v2, as you said, post plant, and no paranoia for Glyph. I'm still unsure about the flank, and if someone could come through sewers, and Burger Boys have an advantage. 1v1 left, Glyph versus Bonnie. And now hoping to teleport her, I don't know, is just faking it. Wins that easily against Glyph, the 3K. Bonnie continues to be that consistent fragger.
Yeah, Bonnie's that guy. He's just him tonight. That's all. That's just all you can say. But when you're dropping 30 plus for the L, and then you come back into the next map and start off like 7-1, and now you're 14-6. Yeah, you're just that guy. Second dimensional drift at the ready. Economy going to be pretty much broken for the most part for Ambrosia. It's going to have to be a half purchase, probably at best. It's just one of those things that's just like the moments of finesse that we're starting to see in these low number situations are starting to become the difference makers. That we really gave a lot of credit to Shondex for being able to do that on the Ambrosia side, but everyone has provided that in some form for Burger Boys. The only thing that's really been missing, again, is just Satellite has not been able to provide the same kind of duelist participation that we've seen out of Nanners and Bonnie in this map, or at least in this series, I should say, at this point.
Yeah, the pace that Satellite wants to play at, as soon as he gets to that destination, it's still tough to get that aim really, really clean with the recoil and everything, and Burger Boys catching that neon, despite how much faster Ambrosia's playing compared to Icebox and even previously, so really just a good job from Burger Boys to mute Satellite as much as they are. And now Burger Boys can kind of sit back. I like where Retro's sitting through in that one and done spot. Especially with a judge, you're almost guaranteed a kill, if not more. And this is going to get checked. One. Now the fault line is going to make this stressful, and Retro could still do damage as the rest of Ambrosia can now head towards the site. And Cracker seems pretty determined to make this outlaw work within the site. Now realizing a Rolling Thunder was available, and he escapes just in time.
And you got the dimensional drift to get back into sight here. There's no other option. Post plant's gonna be pretty dynamic. Fracto waiting for pings. That's a huge first. Looking for more. Stop it.
What?
Are we kidding? That wasn't even pinged out by Bonnie. That was just a shot into a default corner, but Ambrosia's still hanging. Fracto trying to spam through the box, not able to connect onto Welly. This is a really tough retake. Shock dart, you know you're in the corner. Hits him right in the chest. Follow-up would get the kill if it lands perfectly. At least flushes him out, can trade the weapon. Sean's still in the corner. How far do you pull this if you're Practo? Trying to get it all the way. The check is out. Practo has to be pulled off. Can't find the kill. Good finesse from Shondex. Kill is there for Practo, but the round goes the way of Ambrosia.
Damn, that was so close. Two clutch gods facing off. That was a clash. At least Ambrosia are showing that, well, they're not going to let Burger Boys run away with this first half. They'll put some scratches and some dents into the Burger Boys armor, but there's just these fun positions from Burger Boys that are making Ambrosia have to think twice, like whether it's putting an ISO in the sewers, or now you have an Omen with a judge in a corner. Ambrosia just always have to check every single corner. And he said exactly that when Satellite slipped into the site solo. Like you have to check every corner against Burger Boys.
Well, back to pistols for Burger Boys. And for the first time, we're going to see a pretty dramatic walk up here. And it's not just one or two. It is 3 members large over towards A main. Contact is not here, though, and that trap wire will likely have Bonnie hitting this gate crash to get out of here. Or maybe they just try to challenge over the top of it. They're thinking about it, but I think A-Green has seen that. Yeah. And they're like just trying to do some sort of a little hurdle over the top of it. Doesn't fully work out. Trades are decent along the backside, and the follow-up fight may be forced with the undercut coming through, but Shorty in the corner too much, and Ambrosia clean things up to get their fourth.
A simple round for Ambrosia. I had hoped that maybe Practo coming through B could have backstabbed Ambrosia while they were looking towards the flankers coming through A main, but Ambrosia just had a really good reaction to that. I think they're starting to fire back a lot better and have these responses built up, and they're not getting crushed and it's not hurting Ambrosia's confidence the way that it did back on Ascent. So like that, Ambrosia played as a team there, and we go forward with a 7-4, almost first half done. You got pings all over C, so we'll get to see Satellite get active once again, like at the start, but it was this darn Sentinel of Alvin that made things so troublesome for Ambrosia. Now this time using the Neon Wall to get into a position, you stay secure, you stay standing, you can even up your shots, stabilize them better, and now Ambrosia look more stable.
Yeah, and this should surely be Ambrosia trying to play this retake or play the post plant on the site. Just knowing the kill contract is there, you don't want to leave too much space, and that's a huge initiative pick onto from Satellite onto Bonnie. Here comes the follow-up though. Cracko able to catch on one, but no, everything else for Ambrosia comes out perfectly. And yeah, a little bit of a zip, zap, zoop, zoop on the retro. Ambrosia will finish at 7-5. A massive comeback effort considering how that first half had started.
Had a Neon appear out of nowhere and just start overdriving like kind of nuts, but Satellite has a lot to make up for of just how this map started. And Ambrosia's the type of team that maybe can start slow but blossom so well later on. I mean, it's been 3 rounds in a row now, hoping that this pistol goes their way so they can try to get the lead back in their favor. But now we'll get to see the potential of the Burger Boys offense, and if it hurts just as bad on offense as it did on defense. And a lot of that was centered around Bonnie and Prakto.
I'll show them. Lintik kayo.
Well, pistol could get us back to level if you're Ambrosia. But the difficulty against this Burger Boys comp is going to come in how do you stop it. So I'm looking at Sean, who has been pretty undeniable, honestly, when it comes to fulfilling their role with efficiency and throwing a lot of, I would say, anxiety into the offensive Burger Boys, especially on that last icebox. Can they step up and be trusted to, again, just kind of dominate the opening first bloods and just lock down sites?
Portal closed.
Ambrosia already ditching A after kind of realizing they've left C open. Maybe there was a smoke from Burger Boys. And now Ambrosia are just getting their steps in for sure on where they're rotating around the map. Now Glyph will be able to jump up, throw a smoke, paranoia, catches that Yoru. Burger Boys scrambling. Good teleport out from Bonnie. And Burger Boys find themselves at square one, but at least on an even playing field. And now they can go for just another site.
And this is where you point to Shondex.
30 seconds
Defense going to reinforce that A choke with another smoke. That will allow Welly to stay here a little while longer. Doesn't have any utility to play with, so why not keep him there? Pings are out. Recon dart is in. Sean's going to hear a lot of this, but it may have to be Satellite as the first one in. But no, the crossfire setup for Burger Boys too strong. And it has to be Sean, and Nanners will find him over towards Garage. Welly, the last one left. Kicks a couple with him, but the pistol goes the way of the Burger Boys very comfortably.
Yeah, Burger Boys were able to have their setup inserted quite quickly and really well. Like Bonnie from the back left corner to Nanners addressing the right side. Like that was well synchronized despite kind of how scary it looked initially when they were heading to A and you had to teleport out and you had a paranoia from Glyph that looked like it hit almost the entirety of Burger Boys. And Bonnie's been getting better at having the better teleport timings too, so he's not getting punished on those. And solid pistol from Burger Boys. Now, this could be Ambrosia peeking out of Garage aggressively, and it's Satellite leading that charge going towards Spawn. He may just be overheating a bit. Let's get Alvin down to 6 HP, and that's because he had a Marshall. I think he would have been able to punish Satellite in with a different weapon. Now Burger Boys race to make up for that, going towards A.
Yeah, and they're going to use the Aldron early just to make sure no one's still lurking over towards the front window at B. So a little bit more confidence in terms of keeping your eyes forward here if you're Burger Boys, especially with the trap wire behind you. Dark cover goes out. Bonnie looking to do a little head hunting in case someone wants to jump peek the box, but that window has closed, and Burger Boys will continue just to keep the noise quiet. And again, just try to keep Ambrosia on their heels a touch.
There's the jump in, paranoia through the left side for Burger Boys, and there's a lot of spam coming in. Nanners checks the corner. He goes to the left, he gets fragged, and it's picked up by Retro, who rounds the backside, and Shondex and Anchor gets 3, but it's Fracto that wins the 1v1 for Burger Boys.
Yeah, Shondex needs to start throwing an SOS out there. Like, considering that you're on all classics, for him to catch 3, unreal. But I do have to say again, for Ambrosia, you're fighting uphill battle right there. You do a decent job of trying to stall that one out. Like, you break Nanner's shield on the way through that dark cover. Problem is, you catch that, he catches the one while it's, while he's stunned up. And Sean can really only do so much with the last one in the sight. But full purchase here. See what we get. It's going to be pretty much, yeah, full rifles, full armors for just about everybody on the server at the moment. And a quick potential hit on the way. Glyph in trouble. Dark cover is in, but it's not going to stop Burger Boys from committing.
So much spam, and Glyph just stares at his own death. And at least it's Shondex who continues to be that sentinel to fear, and he's gotten 3 off of just Burger Boys staggering in, tripping over their feet before Nanners is able to equalize. At the end of the day, Burger Boys had more numbers to keep that going. And Shondex really does need an SOS, just needs a whole team to help him out.
Just anyone to help him out right now. I mean, these last couple of rounds, it's only been Sean who's really been able to throw any weight around the rink. It's another really impressive just entry through the dark cover. A little snap at the end right there for a moment as well, but just too many to deal with. Like, you can't ask for much more out of your Sentinel player. It's just been one of those, again, it's just something's just not clicking for this Ambrosia team right now. Like, this is just not what we had seen from them throughout their run of the Swiss stage. Like, it just has not, honestly, just has not been enough out of Satellite this map.
Good fault line. Burger Boys are hit by so much youth build, paranoia and fault line, and that leaves Ambrosia to have all their ducks in a row. And Alvin left behind as the solo duckling, and a thrifty for Ambrosia too at that. Gives them a leg up their first round of the half too.
Yeah, SOS answered by Glyph that round. He steps up for 3, getting 2 with the Sheriff before finally collecting a dropped rifle, because Sean had found the other 2. So an important round there for Ambrosia. Just immediately flips the eco right back around again and gives you a chance to get your defense going here. Hunter's Fury also at the ready, which is going to be important, I think, in terms of timing of when you want to use that as we start to make our way forward, because again, just like dealing with the Nanner shield is tough, especially when you've got kill contract out. You just don't want to be stuck in the Hunter's Fury and be forced into a 1v1 against Nanners. So we'll see what we get in terms of timing for both those ultimates in this round, if we even see it. I think the Nanners one, which we very well may not.
It depends. Is Glyph going to want to check through this window? He looks like in a position to throw paranoia and for this to react. He reacted to by Shondex. There's a paranoia catch ISO. That ISO stuck on the door. And there, that coalesces from Ambrosia right into garage.
That'll work. Moment of comedic relief, though. A little teleport action. Hey, how are you? Oh, whoops. Oh, okay, slipping around. Here we go again. So we get back to within 3, but ultimates surely going to be part of this round as Burger Boys are trying to inch closer and closer to magic number 13. That's just so funny, that teleporter on the back. Both players, just off. Little right, little left. Snap, dealt with. But here we go. Kill contract likely to come through. May get a dimensional drift if Bonnie can find a way to earn an orb or a kill. And, ooh, quick aggression here from Satellite, but flash, paranoia, all being spent. And you'll have to back away here if you're Ambrosia. You don't want to lose any battles down C long like that.
We haven't gotten to see Satellite activate and go on some kind of fun adventure like that. And then as soon as he does, he's fault line and paranoia. Like, that's so unfun for him. But he's still alive, so at least he'll still get to enjoy this round. Burger Boys threw a lot at him, and now we'll pivot to the right side of the map where, guess what, a whole obstacle course. Bonnie gonna spot that trip out early, and they got a very deep teleport of the Yoru available, but nonetheless, it'll be up to Shondex as the anchor in a early Hunter's Fury as soon as Shondex susses something out.
Yeah.
And it's not going well for Ambrosia.
Yeah, I think that's a little late, honestly, from Welly. Like, both those traps are supposed to be there to where one is deleted, and you hear shots for the second, you immediately have everyone stuck in that choke point, but timing wasn't fully there. Bonnie will tee off on the mistake. And Welly with the last one left. Retro trying to chase. And we'll give a little bit of respect here. Not the gun throw. Not the gun throw. It is the gun throw. 11-7.
All Burger Boys very much telling Ambrosia this should have never even gotten this far. An icebox will be something for Burger Boys to review, but 2 more rounds before the semifinal ticket is theirs, and Ambrosia visits the lower bracket, but they want to prevent that. They're throwing us to a timeout. And we'll assess thereby. While Burger Boy is happy with that, they'll get to talk about 4 ultimates that they have.
Yeah, I just kind of, again, this is kind of a highlights package from what we've had to this point, but the moment of that round, it just felt like what Shondex was trying to set up was, here are these weird traps that everyone has to kind of look down for. You don't want, or jump over, and you put one right after the other, so that way when you hear the first one get broken down, you can get yourself ready for that Hunter's Fury, because you have everyone stuck in that choke point. But Welly, I think, just pulls it out a little bit late. And maybe it's just a mistiming thing. Maybe I'm misreading it, but it just felt like that was what the play was supposed to be about, is if they do hit over towards A main, here's your 2 alarm systems. They both get popped, and Welly, I think, is just a little late in the trigger to try to follow up with that Hunter's Fury. So it doesn't really work out as intended, but now you've got full purpose back again. Odin in the mix, but you didn't have to spend anything in that last round for Burger Boys. So now you've got a full arsenal of ultimates to try to get to 12.
Welly likes those blind Hunter's Furies. I mean, we even saw it on Icebox, and you just never know with the Challengers Hunter's Furies kind of what you're able to get. Sometimes you get lucky. And now you got a dimensional drip just traversing through Narnia all the way through the back of A. Use a teleport there. All right, sight is clear. And Alvin has a real backstab opportunity. He won't hear the cross, and he's smoked off, but timing's critical for someone like Alvin.
Yeah, it just comes down to, he's kind of already missed window number 1, which is catching someone on the rotation. Good first here from Bonnie. Traded, though. Spike is delayed a little while longer because they want away now for Alvin. Hunter's Fury out. You have to force him back. There's a neural theft. This Hunter's Fury could really pack a punch now. Doesn't fully hit. Alvin's going to get a second and a third. Yeah, timing there. Initially, this feels like, again, the first window was missed to try to find the crossers, but then you follow up perfectly with the Hunter's Fury pushing everyone around. Shondex, though, may have a little bit more magic up his sleeve. This would be a 1v4.
Yeah, Shondex was a little late to the party, too. Both Sentinels kind of laid back and said they got this. And Shondex, SOS out again. Kind of got the Batman symbol in the sky. And it's him that has to answer the call. Aldrone is going to hear that. Spike tap, no one emerging from sewers. He must be through main. Is going to decide to just save the weapon when time is running out. Not feed any more ult orbs than he has to.
Yeah, very clean for Burger Boys. You put the pressure now on Ambrosia for 5 straight rounds. The kill contract is still at the ready.
I need a gun.
It's so tough for Ambrosia. Just a couple of moments they're just not able to follow up on.
Thank you.
They haven't had the same initiation that had really gotten them in the playoffs in the first place. Just one of those days, you know, sometimes Valorant's just a tough game, and definitely felt like that for Satellite. This hasn't really been able to provide that same punch that we've been used to seeing. It's been Glyph and Shondex, actually. It's really just been Shondex that's been the shining light for Ambrosia. And now Satellite just going to see what they can create with a bold operator at A lobby.
And Glyph is going to be watching over Garage, splitting that. So Burger Boys do decide to explore that. They were sort of pinging it, but Satellite with that opener. It's important for Ambrosia to find some sense of hope and cope. That a comeback is always possible as long as Ambrosia are still in the game. Burger Boys are still on exploration duty and not really getting much contact other than, well, let's avoid the op and let's see is the op still there. It is.
Yeah, and that is just a level of let's see if the op is still there, because Alvin dropping doesn't really tell you much if you're Ambrosia, as he's often been the late lurker. So you're still, I think, a little bit, you know, on 4-ball alarm here.
Time to jump.
to where else this hit can be coming from. And now the noise is being made as it's the hit through garage, at least an attempt at it. Glyph, considering the paranoia, tosses it. Perfect timing, deals with one.
30 seconds left.
Decoy only a momentary distraction. Acreon still left in the corner. Teleport onto site. Looks decent for Retro, but now he's the last one left. Tries to shake off the flash, but a Satellite has made their way all the way around the back to connect with their second op shot. So 12-8, Ambrosia still alive, but purchase should still be okay here for Burger Boys.
Ambrosia poking and prodding and starting to melt down that steal offense of Burger Boys, who are in a position of we just need to close out, which got pretty hectic on Ascent when things were close, and now Ambrosia depend on Satellite. I don't know if he wants to drop the op for someone else and go crazy with the overdrive or what the plan's gonna be, but you could pull a Bonnie and really take control of Courtyard, something that Ambrosia haven't really tried. It's the initial pick with the op, which is successful. Burger Boys can't trade yet.
No, this is, I mean, if you were to, like, how does Ambrosia get to 12-12? That's the question that gets asked. One possible answer is that Satellite starts to hit. Has not been a part of it. Satellite's starting to catch a bit of a hot hand here. Now, again, granted, this was a weaker purchase than I would have figured initially. No! But this is important. You know, just get Satellite a little bit of confidence. Hit a couple of op shots. Getting aggressive.
Simple as that.
And it's working out. So 2 rounds in a row, that's been kind of a factor. And Burger Boys may need to consider what they want to do to try to avoid just raw peeking into this op that's become a new issue.
Yes.
Yeah, not only just Satellite feeling himself, but Ambrosia having a bit of fun, like missing a shot or whatever, and now going for a knife kill, like maybe trying to get into the Burger Boys' heads, because a lot of rookies on the Burger Boys side, and this is a level of pressure that I'm sure a lot of them haven't experienced. And you're still on the upper side of the bracket, so Welly, another early Hunter's Fury going in blind, just got Burger Boys scrambling. Now it's a deep door teleport towards C that's got Ambrosia staying still.
Yeah, but the Hunter's Fury being down and the awareness of where the operator has moved to gives you a chance to try to play something a little bit different. But Satellite back in mid, deciding what they want to set up. Glyph, little shoulder has seen enough. And you've got the Odin here. The problem is, how do you peak this with an Odin?
Yeah, it's tough. It's like you hear anything, you just start spraying and praying. That would be the ideal strat for Welly. And he won't be able to go on too much of a flank. It'd be the slowest one of all time. But when he's inserted into this corner, Burger Boys were to re-clear, that would be fruitful. But Burger Boys are heading towards C with 2 trips and, of course, a breach. And Acreon's one away from the Rolling Thunder too. But it's the kill contract that's going to kidnap Acreon. So no fault line, nothing from Ambrosia to stop this Burger Boys push for the moment. And it's still Satellite who goes crazy with the overdrive. And Burger Boys don't have the advantage that they thought they had off of the Nanner's kidnap. And Acreon's back in the fight, and man, his impact was known.
Yeah, to win the first 1v1 is fine. To come out of it and win 2 more, where you had called it, like, Welly is either going to be on the slowest flank ever or just not in the play. I mean, that was legitimately a 4v4 on the site, and it looked like the initiation was perfect because you didn't have the ability to flash or stun at all if you're Ambrosia's defense, but an initial 1v1 comes through. Acreon follows up with 2 more after winning inside the kill contract. That's absolutely huge. And you can kind of see it. Satellite, you know, the overdrive connects for 1, doesn't get many more, but does enough to allow Acreon to come out of that kill contract and be safe. So, ooh, interesting battle here. A little teleport for teleport action. And Retro will get caught. Paranoia avoided, but Welly can hold down the bullet hose. And that will largely work. And yeah, double tap doesn't make a difference. I've got 1.5 million bullets, so.
Standing ahead.
I need a lot more layers on that shield for sure. And now Burger Boys were just supposed to close it out, and this will be 4 in a row in a few seconds for Ambrosia. And they're pretty rich. You can't say the same about Burger Boys. So that scenario of going into OT shift is looking more and more probable.
Yes, it is. Yeah, cash is going to be fine for Burger, at least to get something built up to try to fight this one outright. Dimensional Drift at the ready. Rolling Thunder, though, on the other side is key. So it's going to be pretty much a full-on square-off. The only difference is You've got the op, and I believe Welly is going to give himself, well, he swaps over to a Phantom. I was wondering if he was kind of juggling the Odin to play with both on the same site so he can switch between weapons, but may not have done that. Kind of hard to tell. We'll see what he's got available to him, though, as we get back into the round.
Okay, no Odin for Welly. Back to the standard stuff. Although I did enjoy how loud that gun was, waking me up for sure. Burger Boys want to stay also awake on the upper side of the bracket. It's just one round, guys, right? You have so many powerful ultimates. You just send Bonnie to Dimensional Drift, and what did I say about Ambrosia? They're just are late to blossom, but better late than never.
Yeah.
Oh God, and there's Bonnie.
Well, that's the player to watch, just hopefully not that close. Because the Dimensional Drift is likely what's going to be used to open up these sites. I'll drone first, make sure no one's in the corner. Trapwire will be seen by that. Clearance through garage window as well, so you don't have to use the Dimensional Drift yet.
Who's next? Handle this.
Instead, it's going to be a drift onto B. They're going to see Satellite. Teleport over towards C. How much of this can you actually connect with, though, if you're Bonnie? Rolling Thunder gets kind of baited out, and the defense is fully committed to a C hold when, in fact, it's a position over the middle of the map, and now Retro can cut off the defense as they're split between two different sites.
Oh, but wait, what Welly and Glyph can do, they have a paranoia, but Burger Boys are just quicker to the punch, and they're just knocking Ambrosia out cold. But Glyph lives on with 5 HP, and the pinch continues. Ambrosia through the left side. Acrid with no util though, and a huge information advantage for Alvin, and here's the burst taken out, and Acrid discovered, but not conquered. He is traded. It's 2 versus 2 for the win for Burger Boys. Alvin and Practo lay low as best as they can, 6 feet under. Practo against 2 threats, 1 down, 1 to go with a Hunter's Fury. That's going to slow him down, and Glyph is on the approach, and that is it. A game of chicken at the end, but a game of Valorant won by Burger Boys as they go to the semifinal.
It's a bold call to pull the Hunter's Fury right there, but time was ticking away. It makes an anxiety call come through, and Burger Boys